Hi guys, welcome to Cake and It Special. This week we are going back to basics with this teddy bear cake topper. If you are new to cake toppers, then this is a great one to start with. So here we go. I start with some pale brown modelling paste. I'm using Renshaw's, and I start with a ball. I'm going to use my hands to elongate it a little, slightly into a cone shape, keeping it flat at the bottom. This is going to be the torso of the teddy bear. I like to run my finger along the top of the body to thin it out slightly. It also gives my bear a little podgy belly, which I think makes it look cute. I stick this to a little cake card with just a little bit of water. Now I can add a lollipop stick straight through the centre. This will support the head later on. Before this starts to dry, I want to add the fur effect. To do this, I use a taper cone star modelling tool and I push little lines all around the body. When the fur effect is done, I take my stitch tool and run it straight up the centre of the belly and down the back. This modelling paste starts to dry very quickly, so it's important to add the fur effect straight away. So it's really important that you do body, fur effect, legs, fur effect, head, fur effect, and so on. So don't try and make like the entire bear and then try and do the fur effect all in one go, because it will not work. Your bear will have already started to dry out and then it's just going to crumble and fall apart, and yeah, just don't do it. And when that's done, I move on to the legs. I take more of my modelling paste and roll out a cord. Then use my thumb at the bottom to push up into a foot. And then just use my finger to roll across just above the foot to define an ankle. Remember though, this is a teddy bear. You don't want to be like perfectly thin ankles. That would be really weird. I make 2 of these and then use my knife to cut an angle at the top of each leg so that it fits up against the body. Again, just sticking them in place with a little bit of water either side of the body. When they're in place, I add the fur again and the stitch lines. I roll out a ball from more of my modelling paste and stick it onto the body. I ever so slightly push my thumb into the top part of the head. I'm going to add the fur lines to the head as well, but just around the sides and the back and the top. I'm going to leave the face alone. I use my balling tool to push in some eye sockets. I use the big one first and then the smaller ones to go inside the big ones. Now I add a little white fondant to a little of my brown modelling paste for the muzzle. It is the muzzle, isn't it? I just create a flat circle and stick that to the lower half of the face and use my sculpting tool to draw in the line. For the arms, I roll out another cord of my modelling paste and flatten out a hand. I use a sculpting tool to push in a thumb, so it's like a little mitten hand. Then I can stick them to the body in the position that I want them, once again adding in the fur and stitch lines. For the ears, I take a small ball and push my balling tool straight on top of it to flatten it out. Then after I've added the fur lines to that, I can then use my knife to cut it in half to create 2 ears, which I can then stick to the top of the head. I add a tiny triangle of black modelling paste for the nose and 2 tiny balls for the eyes. I also add 2 teeny tiny pieces of white for the catch lights in the eyes. For the final step, this is completely optional, it's just something that I like to do, is go in with some dry colour dusts. I just add some shading with some brown, focusing on the stitch lines and where you would see shadows. I also add a little tiny bit of water to my dry dust as well to add on some eyebrows. And then I add some dry white dust to the top of the nose. Just keep going until you're happy. And there he is. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do subscribe to this channel. I bring you a new cake or cake topper every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. GMT. You can also find Cake and It's Special on Facebook and Instagram. So I will see you next week. Thanks, guys. Bye.